Hi everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon trading card game video. And what we will be seeing here is another battle between my Miltank Empoleon deck that I showed off last time, and what we have on our left is my friend Ethan, who has, well, it's kind of a fun little deck. I've showed it off at least once before, but it involves Blastoise EX and Pyroar. And the way Blastoise EX works is, for 2 colorless energy, it does 30 damage. Then you switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, and then your opponent does the same. Kind of like Escape Rope, except you do it first. And on top of that, it adds damage. Basically, the idea of it is to inflict damage and then retreat into Pyroar to lock your opponent out of attacking. That's the way it's supposed to work. He has very successfully done that a few times. I wouldn't say it's high tier. I mean, there's probably a reason not many people have played it, but it's very fun, very simple, and it works pretty well. So, here we go. Of course, I'll be playing my Empoleon deck again, and this should be a better video showing off, demonstrating how it usually works. I think Ethan just started off with a Mr. Mime there. And I started out with a Mulligan, so he's going to put out his prizes. Oh, I love how many Pokemon sleeves there are to choose from now. I have these Finnegan sleeves, and like I said earlier, I got these from Target. They also sell Froakie and Chespin sleeves there. And Ethan has sleeves from the Pokemon Y Elite Trainer box. So, that's pretty fun. I just love how many sleeves there are now to choose from. Before, probably this past year, there haven't been many sleeves to choose from. There's been like stuff from either Japan. You either had to get it from Japan, or you had to resort to older sleeves, like pre-release sleeves from the Platinum series, stuff like that. But anyway, I finally started off with a basic there. He drew Duskull. Oh no, it wasn't a Duskull he started out with. It was and it wasn't Mr. Mime. It was Duskull. Anyway, so I have Duskull active, and I don't have anything to do. I just pass. I don't have anything. I think I had a rare candy in Empoleon, but I can't use that until next turn, so why bother? He's going to bench his other Duskull, and Dusknoir works the same way for both of us. You know, when your opponent has damage on the board, you are allowed to move it around however you want on their side, with Sense or Hand. So he's just going to play his in there. I kind of figured he would. And I figured even if he didn't, then I would anyway, so it didn't matter. So, I wasn't worried at all about not doing anything at the beginning of my turn. Anyway, so I started out with Miltank, and I have a Piplup on the bench. If I can get a rare candy Empoleon, all of a sudden, on my first turn of attack, again, for 1 energy, I'm going to be doing 80 damage. More than enough to knock this Duskull out. I think ideally, I can knock out this Duskull on my next turn, and he doesn't draw another basic or a way to evolve into Dusclops or Dusknoir, and I'll just quickly win the game like that. But as you can see by how long this video is, that's not the case. So we both cut each other's decks, and I'm being a little clumsy at doing it. Let's see what we get off of our ends to 6. He got Fire Energy, Sycamore, Lysander, Blacksmith. Oh man, so many supporters. Oh, that's horrible. That's really horrible. I, on the other hand, got an Energy, Skyla, Colress, Silver Bangle, and I just drew a Miltank off my top deck. And a Piplup. I could Colress here for 4. I probably will. I see he doesn't have any EXs in play, so I don't see a reason to play that Silver Bangle needlessly. I could have played it just to get it out of my hand, so I wouldn't have a chance of redrawing it with Colress, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So, I mean, and plus, where would I put it? I could put it on the Piplup, I guess. But whatever, I'm just going to shuffle that into my deck with the rest of my hand, and let's see what I get off of this Colress to a mighty 4, which is about the lowest that I ever actually recommend. Ideally, you want to draw as many as possible with Colress. I have had to play Colress for 1 before, and Jaywitz played Colress for 0 at last year's Top Cut Invitational. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess I didn't really get anything there. I got a Dusclops, Ultra Ball, nothing to really work with. I am going to Powerful Friends for 10. Sweet. And he got another supporter. Another useless supporter on top. No, it's not useless, actually. Pokemon Fan Club could be very useful here. He could Evo Soda here. But what's the point in evolving into Dusclops? You really need to evolve into Dusknoir. So instead, he's actually going to play his Pokemon Fan Club here. And I think that's the best supporter for him to play in that kind of predicament. He's going to get a Blastoise EX. Remember what I was talking about. Rapid Spin, 30, and both players change their active Pokemon. And then he's going to get a Pyroar. And here's the thing. Empoleon completely shuts down Pyroar. It gets past the intimidating main ability, which means it can attack. And since Pyroar is weak, all you need in play are 5 Pokemon. That does 100 damage. Pyroar has 110. I'm sorry. 6 Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent. And that's basically 3 per side. That's enough for Empoleon to knock out Pyroar with 1 energy. So much things going on right now for 1 energy. Of course, next format, Landorus and Lucario will be able to deal like 90 damage for 1 energy. Slightly better than Miltank, but it requires a bit more setup. Anyway, so he benches both. He could attach an energy right now. I would definitely recommend that he do it. But he's going to Evo Soda first, get a Dusclops into play. Probably the right play. If he can get a Dusknoir, he won't have to worry about the rare candy. Just straight evolve into it. And now that I see the Blastoise, I can definitely attach the Silver Bangle to Miltank. Remember, the point of my deck is not to knock out my opponent's Pokemon. It is just to put damage on the board and then take a ton of prizes at the end of the game. So he could attach a Fire Energy here. He's going to attach it to Blastoise. I believe that is the right play to do. He's just had incredibly bad luck. I mean, look at his hand. 4 cards, 4 supporters. I'm going to Ultra Ball here, get rid of 2 Water Energy. No problem. I'm definitely going to get those back later with Superior Energy Retrieval. I don't know what to go for here. I don't know if I have a rare candy in hand. Looks like I don't because I went straight for Prinplup. This is why it's imperative that you run at least one of a middle evolution if you ever run evolutions. Just in case for some reason you're unable to use rare candy, or if you've used them all already, you should still leave yourself that option to just go the old-fashioned way, one at a time. I could attach Silver Bangle here, but what's the point? I'm not attacking an EX right now. I am just attacking the Duskull. And my Powerful Friends is still doing a whopping 10! Because in order for it to do more, I need to actually have a Stage 2 in play, not just a Stage 1 like Prinplup. It needs to be a Stage 2 like Empoleon, for example. So there, Ethan top decked a double colorless energy, and he's just going to do that. And then he plays the Zen. And I think that's the correct thing to do, again, because he needs to preserve all those supporters and hopefully never, ever, ever draw all of them at once again. So we both get 6 cards here. He gave me a much better hand than I had already. I only had Silver Bangle and I think Sacred Ash. And he's getting himself, hopefully, 6 much better cards. Even if he got the same 3 supporters he had last time, hopefully the other 3 won't also be supporters. Regardless, he's just, if he can get a Floatstone here, then he could retreat into Blastoise and immediately just Rapid Spin and start putting damage on the board. His idea is exactly the same as mine. Just put damage on the board. Don't even worry about knocking stuff out right away. That's why he runs Dusknoir like I do. He benches another Blastoise EX here. Yeah. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to see what I pulled. Oh, there we go. It looks like I got an Empoleon off that. So, let's see. Miltank as well. Switch. I got a ton of good stuff. He got some mediocre stuff. Nothing he really would have wanted. I didn't quite see what he played there. Something that let him search his deck at the very least. Shoot, and I didn't even see what he got. It all happened so fast. He might have Ultra Ball there, actually. I'm sorry that everything's a little to the left. I just threw this camera up and started recording. That's the way it normally is. And actually, it looks like a few of you in the comments seem to think that I'm in control of the lighting and the situation, all that. No. And I'll tell you why. The lights are about 25 feet up in the air, and they are, like, permanently a certain setting. This is basically the equivalent of a Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. That League is in. It's not a department store or anything. It's just that's the kind of building it is. Anyway, he has to pass there. I top deck another Empoleon. Sweet. And I'm going to bench the Miltank, and I could diving draw away the other Empoleon, but I'd rather wait till I get a rare candy so I can evolve into Empoleon. Anyway, so I will diving draw here. I'm going to discard the Piplup, actually. Perfect. I got to execute off of that. Unfortunately, I have no way of getting it into the discard pile, so it's basically useless to me right now. It needs to be in the discard pile to be useful. If it's ever just stuck in your hand, it's as useless as you not having it to begin with. I really would have loved a Lysander there to not have to knock out this Duskull, because I need to spread damage. Even 20 damage could be useful at late game, but unfortunately I didn't hit it, so I'm just going to have to Powerful Friends for knockout. And Ethan top decked a Sycamore. And he's going to bench another Litleo, and then he's going to play a Sycamore, get rid of the Pal Pad, and he got some stuff. Muscle Band is imperative with his deck. It adds another 20 damage to an otherwise pretty pitiful attack. Now all of a sudden his Rapid Spin is doing 50 instead of 30. 50 damage, an extra 20 damage in play, that is a lot more for Dusknoir to work with Sinister Hand, which he also has in play, by the way. So once he Rapid Spins here for 50, all he needs to do is move the damage around, and all of a sudden you're looking at him potentially knocking out my Dusclops on my bench. And at any rate, he's going to Rapid Spin here. As you saw there, I put the energy on my Miltank, then he switched his Pokemon, then I switched mine. Now I have a Miltank active, I'm just going to attach an energy, and diving draw. Now the egg is in the discard pile. I diving drawed away the execute, and now that is exactly where I need it. Of course, he doesn't play Garbodor, so I have no worries about my abilities being shut down. And here I'm going to play Colress for not 4, but 9, which is much more preferable. Ideally, you want a Colress for 10, as many cards in your hand as possible, but I'll take 9. Yeah, I'll live with that. Anyway, so we'll see what I get off of that. Unfortunately, his Dusknoir is in play, so when his turn comes, he can easily just move the 50 damage to my active Miltank, and then knock that out with Rapid Spin if he wanted. And as you saw, I just placed down 9 cards. Let's see what I got. I don't think I got a rare candy. I did get a Silver Bangle, though, so all of a sudden my 1 energy attack is doing 110 damage. I did get to evolve into Dusclops, so it is safe from Sinister Hand for now. I did not get a rare candy, so I cannot evolve into Empoleon and diving draw again. That's unfortunate. I do have a Skyla, though, for next turn, so at the very least I can do that next turn. And while you may say, well, wouldn't you want a different kind of supporter to play, like one that would get you more cards? Think of it this way. Skyla will get me a rare candy, which will get me an Empoleon. And then I'll have 2 Empoleons in play, and with Execute there, all of a sudden, I'm getting 4 free cards. Literally, they're basically free. So, basically there I'm Skylaying for 4 new cards, and not even having to shuffle my hand in my deck to do it. Anyway, there I Powerful Friends for 110 damage. Look at that. He had in his hand the double colorless, he top decked the Muscle Band, and he Sinister Hand 50 up to Miltank, and now he's going to Rapid Spin for knockout. I can see it all happening. And he's going to bench another Blastoise EX on top of that. And that's exactly what he does. He Rapid Spin for knockout, and he can take his prize. And I'm going to promote my Miltank with an energy on it. And I do have the Starling Megaphone. Oh, and I got the Dusknoir. And I don't know why he didn't get his prize there. That's weird. Why did he not get his prize? Oh, man. At any rate, I skyled there for the rare candy, and as you saw, I had 3 of them on the bottom of my deck. That's funny. My bottom 3 cards were all rare candy. It's a good thing I skyled. If I had tried to rely on top deck there, I would have realized very quickly I wasn't going to get it. So as I was saying last turn, I'm going to rare candy into Empoleon now. And now I can Diving Draw twice thanks to Execute's Propagation. Remember, you can use Propagation as many times as you want. Even though the card text says only once per turn, the effect resets every time it goes into the discard pile. Just trust me on that. Anyway, so now I'm going to use my Startling Megaphone and Diving Draw again. I'm going to Propagation the egg into my hand and then Diving Draw to get rid of it. I am in the best of positions in the world. I'm going to Propagation again, then Ultra Ball. I have to discard 2 cards, but with Propagation, I, in essence, only have to discard 1 in order to play it. It will let me get any card I want. I am eyeing the Jirachi here, maybe for next turn so I can get a supporter. Or, more importantly, I can get a Piplup so that I can eventually get another Empoleon in play. I believe I have the Empoleon and the rare candy in my hand. So I'll be able to get 6 free cards in my next turn. You're beginning to see how powerful this is, aren't you? And now I can deal, you know, it won't be 110 now since I don't have a Silver Bangle, but it'll still be 80. 80 damage for 1 energy is pretty huge at any time. But anyway, so that's 80 damage for Dusknoir to move around sometime. And Ethan never did draw his prize. I'm surprised neither of us got that. That in a real game, that would be, I think, an automatic loss by this point. Anyway, excuse me, my voice is going off. I need to get some water. Yeah, I'm very surprised neither of us noticed that. Anyway, so he's probably going to attach that rainbow in. No, he's going to use Professor Sycamore, actually. Got a lot of stuff here. Let's see. He drew 2 Sycamores off of his Sycamore. That's unfortunate. His draws with this game are very, very unfortunate. Drew doubles of a lot of things there. Anyway, he could... No, he has energy attached to this Blastoise, so he could Rapid Spin for 30 right here if he wanted. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any energy on my side of the field to move around with Sinister Hand because he took so much to knock out that Miltank earlier. You know, that was to draw a prize, and he never drew his prize, and I'm surprised neither of us noticed that. But he's just going to Rapid Spin for 30 there, and I'm going to... He's going to promote his other Blastoise. I'm going to promote my Miltank, Rare Candy, and Empoleon. Wow. I'm going to attach Silver Bangle, I'm going to attach Energy, and watch this. Diving Draw 3 times for 6 cards. Propagation into the egg into my hand, and... Actually, no. No, it looks like I'm debating whether... I'm going to Shauna first to get even more cards. I was just putting the Execute at the top of my discard pile. You're allowed to do that however you want. You're allowed to rearrange your discard pile so that cards can be on top or on bottom, however you want. Since it doesn't really matter what order it's in, the discard pile is useless. Well, not useless, but the discard pile is its own thing. But it's public knowledge, so everyone can know what's in there. You can do whatever you want. So here, I have another Silver Bangle I could attach if I want, or I could just start Diving Draw. I also have a Sacred Ash, no reason to use that. There's just so many options I can do, but I really want to see myself make 3 Diving Draws right here. You know, 6 free cards. Come on, Skull. Why are you not doing it? Do it. Do you think I know how to do it? Maybe I don't know how to do it. Wait for it. There we go. Propagation and Diving Draw. Once. Propagation and Diving Draw twice. Propagation and Diving Draw 3 times. 6 absolutely free cards. That is how Empoleon works. I don't know what I was going to do with those cards, but I got them. I already attached for turn. No reason to do anything else. I could just Powerful Friends here for 110 damage. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. No reason to Sinister Hand. I don't want this Blastoise knocked out. I just want the damage on the field so I can take those 5 prizes later in the game. I'm in no danger of being knocked out. I am in control of the board. And he never did take his prize. I'm pretty convinced at this point that he's never going to. Well, note to Ethan. I know you'll be watching this when it goes up. Watch them prizes. And let that be a lesson to all of you guys. Always try to watch your prizes when you're playing competitive games especially. If you fail to notice that you take a prize, it can mean anything from a loss of turn to loss of game, so just take careful note. Anyway, so I counted up my the cards in my deck there. As long as you don't reveal them or shuffle them, you're allowed to count your deck cards as often as you want. But he's going to play his end there, in essence getting rid of my huge diving draw, my huge triple diving draw. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm probably just going to get them all back again, because I have my abilities. I have an egg in the discard pile, and I have 3 Empoleons. I also have Dusknoir in play, which I have not had to use yet. I could at any point just move all this energy to those 2 Litleos, but Pyroar is not a threat at all. If a Pyroar comes into play, there are so many Pokemon in play right now, I could just switch into Empoleon and use the attack command for exactly a lot of damage. So I am in no danger whatsoever of Pyroar. Let's see. I don't know what Ethan played there. It's still his turn, but it's letting him either search his discard pile. I think that's his discard pile. Or he was just looking through it to see what was in there. He could attach an energy here. He's left his Blastoise stuck in the active position. He has no way of using Rapid Spin. I think... Oh, no. He has a double colorless. And he's going to Evo Soda. Okay, now the Pyroar is coming out. Blastoise, unfortunately, has a 3 retreat cost. So even if he attached that double colorless, he's unable to retreat manually into Pyroar. Not that it would do any good anyway. Well, actually it would. I would need a switching card in order to get into Empoleon and an energy to attack with Empoleon. That's the drawback to Miltank. It has a 2 retreat cost, so you actually usually need to use a switch or something. Unfortunately for him, I do have a switch in hand. Unfortunately for me, he never did promote that Pyroar. He had no way to. So here we go. Diving Draw once. Diving Draw twice. And once again, Diving Draw 3 times. I love doing that. And in case you're wondering, yes, that is a shiny Empoleon at the bottom of the screen, kind of. With the one that I just attached an energy to. That is a shiny Empoleon from Plasma Freeze. I tried to make this deck as non-shiny as possible, but in the end, I only had 3 other Empoleons, so I needed to use this one. Whatever. So here I'm just going to move some damage around with Sinister Hand. I don't know what exactly is at the bottom of the screen there. I think that's another Blastoise EX. I'm just trying to move energy... I'm trying to move damage off of the active Blastoise so I don't knock it out with Powerful Friends. This is what I was talking about, not knocking stuff out, just putting as much damage there as possible. It must have been a Blastoise just out of frame because I just moved stuff there with Sinister Hand and knocked it out. And here I'm just going to move stuff to that Pyroar and knock it out, just in the unlikely event that something happens to my Empoleons, all 3 of them, and I'll need to deal with that. No need to, I just knocked out Pyroar, and now I'm down to just 2 prizes. I really could have waited another turn to take all my prizes. That would have been really cool to show off what it's like to take 5 prizes in a single turn. But, you know, I took 3 and I haven't even attacked yet, so that should show off pretty well. Here I'm actually just going to switch into Empoleon. How much damage is this doing? How many Pokemon are in play right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That attack command is doing 130, which will put that Blastoise up to 140 damage. So 40 short of knockout, but still pretty good. So now it's Ethan's turn. He has no way of winning here. He's going to keep playing because he's a good sport. He is a great sport. He really is. He's just going to keep playing it out and not concede. You never know. Maybe I'll just deck myself out and then decide to pass and he'll still win. Anyway, he attached a Rainbow Energy to his bench Blastoise. Then I reminded him, no, you just attached to your active. So he took that back. And it's going to attach a Muscle Band. Now his Rapid Spin is doing 50. And he is going to use his own Sinister Hand to move 30 up to Empoleon. And use Rapid Spin. Now I have to decide what to retreat into. I could retreat into either Miltank. It doesn't matter because I have Dusknoir's Sinister Hand. I could, if I want, just move all that damage to the Duskull and the Litleo on the bench and not even attack, and I still win. But what the hey. I have 3 Empoleons in play. I may as well use Diving Draw 3 times. Again! There's 1. There's 2. And, wait for it. I'm going to Ultra Ball first. I'm trying to see how thin I can get my deck. This is how I love to end my games. I really love, me personally, I just love to get my deck as thin as possible. Actually, believe it or not, usually that's how I prefer to lose. I prefer to actually lose by decking myself out than I do to being knocked out. But sometimes I just like to win like that because I'm a jerk. Now I'm going to Skyla. My supporter for a turn. I'm going to use it to get Juniper. I can Diving Draw here one last time. I've only used 2 this turn. And yes, I will. I'm getting 2 more cards. I only have 1 left in my deck and no way to get it. That is quite unfortunate. But this is the power of Empoleon. And unfortunately, that's also a very real risk you run, is decking yourself out. So be careful. Try to get stuff that puts stuff back into your deck, like Sacred Ash or Super Rod while it's still in format for the next 3 weeks. You do that, guys. Anyway, so I could Dowsing Machine here. I have Dowsing Machine in my hand. I definitely could. I'm going to Propagation. And Dowsing Machine, going to get rid of Egg and Rare Candy. And what am I going to get? I'm going to use Great Ball. And what's the last card in my hand? My deck was Shauna. And my hand is so freaking huge right now. I'm going to just Sinister Hand all that damage up to the active Blastoise and knock it out with Powerful Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Miltank Empoleon. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.